So we have another quick presentation, and really happy to bring up to the stage Robert Craven, CEO of FoodState, the company that makes and markets the Mega Food and Innate Response brands. And Robert called me a few weeks ago and shared with me some of the things that he's doing at FoodState to really bring about a new level of transparency to enable greater trust with his consumers. And the idea sounded pretty interesting to me, and a great example of taking a lot of the things that we've talked about throughout the last 3 days and actually putting them into action. They're bold ideas, and I'm excited for him to share them with you now.
When I was 6 years old, my parents set me down and said, "Your father only has 2 years to live." Little did I know then that that would turn out to be the best day of my life. So let me dive into that a little bit. Put yourself in my father's shoes. You're 27 years old. You were diagnosed with cancer when your son was only about 3, so you stopped having kids, just to make sure. And you then get this horrible death sentence at 2 years. You know, you've got 2 years to live, and you've got this 6-year-old son, and a pretty amazing son, I would say. But you've got 2 years to impart all of your 27 years worth of wisdom into your son. And you start on that right away, and you start imparting wisdom. And it was very impactful to me. And of the thousands of things that my dad told me, 3 really stand out, and I think that they're applicable and important for us to talk about today. One is do it right. He and I would work on his car. He had a Triumph Spitfire, if anybody remember those. And they were British, so we were working on them quite a lot. Nothing against the British, of course. But he would always say, don't even start it if you're not going to do it right. Because I'd be in a hurry to go play with my friends or whatever it might be. Don't even start it if you're not going to do it right. Go in with the intention that you're going to do it right. It's a very powerful lesson to me. He used to say it over and over and over. The second thing after do it right that he told me that really stuck with me was make a difference. Make a difference. Whatever you do, he never tried to drive me towards this or that type of vocation. He simply said make a difference. And another quick story. My grand dream in life was to be a garbage man when I was 7 years old, primarily because they got to hang off the back of trucks and they wore really cool gloves. And he said, "Son, I don't care if you're a garbage man as long as you make a difference doing that." And the third thing he said was be bold. Don't hold back. Don't let anyone ever tell you you can't do it. Be bold in everything you do. So do it right, make a difference, and be bold. This is what drives me. This is a lot about who I am, and it comes from my father. So why am I telling you this, right? What the heck does this have to do with Deshay? Well, we have a story, right? That's my story. We have a narrative as an industry. And just a quick show of hands, how many of you have been in the industry since before 1980? Hold up high. Everybody else look around, okay? Look around. These are the pioneers of our industry. These are the pioneers. This photo might look very familiar, I don't know, to some of you. But as we know, this industry has deep roots in doing the right thing. It has deep roots in peace, love, and happiness, and intentionality. Deep, deep roots in the right intention. It's tremendous, and it defines who we are today. To me, that's more important than, and I'm going to ruffle a few feathers probably, what's in the bottle is what it says on the label is extremely important, but it's also very tactical. It's not about the intentionality of our industry. It's not about the intention of why we're here. Our industry has an incredible story built on the backs of some incredible people, and I would submit that just like my story with my father, each and every one of you are in this industry because of a story. Something brought you here. And if it was to make money, great. If you want a yacht and a big house, that's all good. But at least you get the benefit of being in an industry where you can actually say you improve lives each and every day. That feels pretty good, doesn't it? How many of you have had somebody come up to you and give you a big hug because of your product? Yeah, that feels pretty damn good, I gotta tell you. And we're lucky and blessed to be in an industry that allows for that. This is our story, it's the narrative, our history. The intentionality of why we're here is a big part of what it's all about. Now, throughout the years, lots of folks have jumped into our little industry, our little tribe, in order to try to make money, right? Lots of folks. I'm not against direct response ads on radios, but I'm against direct response ads on radios. Anything that's got a radio ad that says a little FDA disclaimer at the end, I'm immediately tweeting, please don't buy from these people. Getting in just to make money is the fringe. The folks who are cutting corners, it's the fringe. This is the fringe of our industry. It's the 10-15% that we get painted with a broad brush. And it's something we've had to deal with up until now, right? It's a part of our story. We've just dealt with them as they were part of our community. It's getting harder and harder to do that. So I tell my story because I want you to connect with the story of the industry, and I want you to connect with your own story before we go any further. Because this is an amazing event, and we stir up a lot of issues, and sometimes it's hard to get past those issues. So I'm trying to just kind of break you free of that a little bit to reconnect with the intentionality of this industry. Can you guys do that with me? Just for a minute? I love Mark Ledoux's analogy about millennials. They are a force. For sure they're a force. The pace of change in social media, the pace of change in technology, all of this is a force that's making it harder for us to live our story in our industry. I want to spin this analogy just a little bit and suggest that our industry is a millennial. Our industry is just now growing up. Think about it. We're not that old of an industry. I've got lots of millennials who work at my company who I love dearly. Many of them are just out of college or out of college 4 or 5 years ago. They came out of college with big, grand ideals, right? In fact, I read a recent study on millennials that said 96% say they deserve their dream job. Real, true fact. 96%, and they all work for me. Just kidding. The point is, what we love about them is, to some degree, and I'm going to use a bad word here, but naivete. We all had it coming out of college. We can solve the world, right? We can change the world. And then you get a job, and you got to pay your mortgage, and you got to pay for your car payment, right? And then you start making choices that are real world type choices, right? Kind of different from college. And I think what's happened to our industry in the last few years is we're now in the real world. We're now in the real world. We're kind of like those millennials. We're still thinking back. It's all about changing the world, peace, love, and happiness. And now we're in the real world. And nothing exhibited that like the panel yesterday with the media. I was a little embarrassed. And what it reminded me of is, if I was to take one of my millennials and put them in front of a New York Times reporter, the experience that they lack in the real world puts them in a position where they can't be very coherent about what's actually going on. That makes sense? A little bit? That's kind of like our industry. We're still trying to figure it out. We're not sure what we want to be 5 years from now or 10 years from now. We're not real sure where it's all going, but we have got very good intention. So we need to cut ourselves a little slack to some degree. But it puts us in a risky position because the risk is going up. DNA testing, it's not just about the government anymore in Deshay. DNA testing, plaintiff's attorneys, social media, food babe, the noise, it's all accelerating very, very quickly. So I'm here to submit that even though we can cut ourselves a little slack by kind of being the millennial type industry, we need to grow up pretty quick. And it has everything to do with what we've been talking about all week. What's the answer? More regulation, pre-market registration, pre-market notification, tactical. And this isn't a new concept this week. I think it's really the theme of what we've been talking about all week. But the answer is really to build trust. The what is trust. The what is how do we build trust, right? That's the what. Things like transparency are hows. Legislation, Washington, those are all the hows. You can't build trust by talking about the how. People have got to know your intentionality. They've got to know where you're coming from. They've got to know who you are before they'll allow you to propose some kind of advice or solution. I would submit most people outside of this room, most people outside our industry don't know who we are. They don't know why we exist. They don't know what we care about. We've kind of lost that. Does that make sense? A little bit? Trust to me is about vulnerability. It's about conversations. It's about being social. It's about sitting down. Most of the people that are my mentors in this room, I've had more than one adult beverage with, and we've gone very, very deep in conversation. That's trust. They know me. I know them. I know their families. They know my families. To me, that's a different level of trust. You can't fake your way there. You can't buy it. You can't hire a publicist for it. You can't fake your way to trust. Neither can an industry. I just read this article this week. Look it up, Forbes, right? Just like hit July 16. Why transparency should matter to food and beverage companies from Forbes. And I'll just read real quickly, what it touched on. Transparency is one method to really build trust that's easier for a company or a brand to really promote. Transparency speaks to consumer desire for connectedness, authenticity, and control in an increasingly complex and competitive consumer landscape. Connectedness. Transparency allows and speaks to connectedness. Transparency reveals product quality and company integrity. Reveals it. We all have it. We all talk about it. Are we doing a good job of revealing our product quality and our integrity? Transparency creates a stickiness, and I love this one, that transforms a transactional exchange into a brand relationship, giving a reason to buy and repeat buy, a willingness to pay more and forgive. I've got trust with several of you in this room, and if you ever did something to hurt me, I am more likely to forgive you. Because we trust each other. Right? How does this industry build that level of trust? We would love to be forgiven. We just want to be heard right now. Right? So how do we get to that level of trust? So some of the things that we did, a little over 3 years ago now, I did a speech at Expo East called Big T Transparency. And I admitted that the fringe is what's making us look bad, and we've got to separate from the fringe. And one way to separate from the fringe is to raise the bar on what quality means, raise the bar on what it means to be a good, high-integrity brand. So we rolled out our Big T transparency efforts for MegaFood and for FoodState at the time, and we rolled out some pretty cool things. This is a picture of our 24/7 webcam. You can go to our facilities 24/7, anytime, any day and night. Sometimes these are dark because we don't run full shifts. But you can see our dryer, our packaging line, our shipping line, our lab. We're in the process of putting in 6 more cameras. We invite people to take pictures in our manufacturing facility. In fact, we've got signs that say, please tweet at MegaFoodie. We want people to embrace our manufacturing. The fact that we go and that we're vertically integrated is a big, big deal. This has been such a hit with retailers, you can't even believe. Retailers go out of their mind when they see this. They're on their iPhone showing consumers. You can actually see them making it right now. You can see the oranges on the dryer. And it's live and it's real. It's a big, big deal. It's an easy one to do too. We also rolled out a thing called the Transparency Project back in December, where we went deep. We did kind of like episodes, TV episodes, where we introduced people to our people. We did all live to our processes, to our farmers. How do we make our product? We actually walked people through it. And while it didn't get a whole lot of hits, and this will be a common theme, it's there. It's there. Rick Scalzo is someone I really, really admire from Gaia Herbs, and they did the Know Your Herb program a long time ago. And I was talking to Rick at one of the expos, and he said, we don't get a ton of hits on it, but it's there. Right? It's not about hits, it's about trust. It's about building the trust. We also do tours of our facilities all the time. We do 1 week a month. Retailers come through. One time a year, we have a big party. We let consumers come through. We do Farm Fresh partner videos. So we partner with Uncle Matt's down in Florida, and we do videos on who he is and tell about his family and introduce his kids. This is the conversation and the dialogue with the customer, right? It's a big deal. When we do videos everywhere, if you go to megafood.com, we are video heavy. I believe visual is a big deal. It's big for building trust. Visual. It's big. In fact, we're on Periscope, thanks to New Hope. They're allowing me to stream this right now, live streaming. I think visual is a big deal. So if you're not using video, use video. Don't let it be scripted. Be real on it. So that's some of the things we've been doing under Big T Transparency 1.0. And I'm announcing 3 new initiatives today under Big T Transparency. And before I announce the initiatives, it's not about, transparency is not a light switch. We can't just flick on transparency. I'm a CEO. I've got a fiduciary duty. I can't give away my formulas. I've got to make sure my employees stay employed, right? So, there's a fiduciary duty here. But you can do transparency, and you can ease into it. So the next 3 things we're going to do, and it's not the end of what we're going to do, but the next 3 things we're going to do are, number 1, culture. Culture matters to people. I've met some wives of the people that I know here, and it's fun. I mean, you get to know their wives, you get to know them better, it builds trust. So we introduce our employees through videos. We're about to announce live town hall meetings. So we have town hall meetings 4 times a year. 2 of them are live, 2 of them are virtual. We're going to invite anybody that wants to sit in on our town hall meetings to sit in. They'll be able to hear our strategies, they'll be able to hear our results, and they're going to hear what's got us concerned and where we're doing well and where we're not. They might not show up, but it's there. And it builds trust when they can come in and see what's important to us. So live town hall meetings, sharing strategies and results, and that's kind of the cultural announcement. The next announcement is audits. We're NSF CGMP certified. We've got audits all the time. FDA comes in probably about once a year, give or take. Once a year we get an FDA audit. So FDA, NSF, we've got an ISO 9001 lab internally, we get that audited. So we are going to take a bold step and share the results of our audits online. The majors, the minors, but we're not just going to put it out there on the web and say, here you go. We're going to do videos. We're going to explain to our customers and our consumers what this means. What is a major? What is a minor? Why should you care? What are they talking about over there in the corner? Well, I can walk over that corner with a video and show them exactly what they were talking about on that audit and exactly what we did to fix it. That's vulnerable. That's extremely vulnerable to people, and it's going to build tremendous trust because it's going to show nobody's perfect. Nobody gets an A+ audit. If you do, please let me know how you do it. But we're damn proud of our audits because we fix it very, very quickly, and we want to show that. So the second big thing that we're going to be doing on the next level is sharing the results of our audits. And last but not least, from an announcement standpoint today, we are going to go to open source new product development. What does that mean? We're going to develop our products out loud on the internet. We're going to tell people what's coming in September at Expo East. We're going to tell people what's coming at March Expo, and we're going to tell them what it takes to build a great product. 20% of the products we try to launch never see the light of day. Stability, R&D, can't find the supply, can't get it right regulatory-wise. Our products are hard to make. We've got a laundry list of no's. We don't have this, we don't have that. It's very, very difficult. We think it's important for people to understand how good products are made. And no, I'm not scared about the competition. The first question is, aren't you scared the competition is going to know what you're doing? No. This outweighs it. This trust outweighs that risk. The trust of sharing what we do from a new product development standpoint. And I'll just mention DNA right now. I think DNA is a big deal, and not just because the New York AG used the wrong test. We've got a lot to figure out. It's a complex issue. It is a complex issue. Our commitment is to figure this out loud. And we want to invite everybody else to figure it out loud. Because if you try to put it in the back room and figure it out, you're going to get slaughtered. If you try to hide what we're doing with DNA or try to belittle it in the media, it's not going to work. We all know that some botanicals are good for DNA, some aren't there yet, but it's going to get there. We all know we've got to integrate it into our SOPs in the lab. We've got to figure out when to use it, how to use it with other things. We believe we need to do that out loud. It needs to be out loud. If it's hidden, it's going to hurt. We're going to lose trust if we try to hide that issue, in my opinion. We're not the only company doing this. There are several companies that are playing this game, and we love it. But it's important that we move the needle, and I'll just real quick on why it's important. The stakes are high. I feel like we've got to elevate the conversation. It's not about the shade, it's about the U.S. healthcare crisis. It's not about big ag being bad. It's not about big pharma. It's not about insurance companies or medical or allopathic medicine being bad. It's out of balance. That stuff is way out of balance. We've got to get more balance on wellness. And who is the balance on wellness? We are. Of course, the natural products industry, the supplement providers, we are the balance on wellness. We are the solution to the U.S. healthcare crisis, in my humble opinion. And we need to be ringing that bell because that's the one that matters. That matters to the New York Times, that matters to a senator, that matters to my mom, that matters to the retailer. This is something they can get behind. It's not tactical, it's an elevated vision. It's elevated, or something like this. We've got to have a drum to beat, whether it's that one or another one, we've got to get on the same page. And I think that has everything to do with having a coherent strategy for our industry that says we've grown up. It's not just about tactics, it's not just about this factor or this one. We can now talk coherently as an industry as we kind of come under one of these visions. We must be trusted. We must be trusted as an industry. I don't survive if I'm not in a trusted industry. A collection of trusted brands makes a trusted industry. And while they're trying to figure it out in Washington, and we support all the associations and what they're trying to do in the dialogue in Washington, it's going to take years, not months. I would submit, my challenge to this group is start doing something to build trust for your company today. Because if we can build trust for the companies and the brands in this space, it'll be a lot easier to get what we want in Washington. It'll be a lot easier to avoid the negative press. It'll be a lot easier to get a lot more positive press, etc. And I think we should just choose to pivot on this potential subject today. So hopefully I've given you a few ideas on that. Hopefully I've gotten you thinking about how we might do that. And I just challenge you to kind of try to do that. And the good news is my dad got into an experimental cancer program, and he beat cancer. He's still with us today. This is recently. He's got a big garden in the backyard and taking care of. But his words are still true. Do it right, make a difference, which is the core of who we are, and be bold. Don't let anybody hold you back. Be bold. So, thank you very much.
Robert, great job.